World leaders at the United Nations General Assembly prepare for another round of debate. This time, the war in Ukraine and Iran's nuclear program taking center stage. You're looking at live pictures out of the UN headquarters in New York, where Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy and his Iranian counterpart Masoud Pezeshkian are expected to speak in the coming hours. Mr. Zelenskyy's speech comes a day after US President Donald Trump shifted his stance on Ukraine. Mr. Trump, who previously pressed Kyiv to surrender, now appears to be encouraging it to keep fighting. The US leader says Ukraine could regain all its captured territory, a notion that Russia firmly rejects. And for more, Toni Waterman is covering this story for CNA from New York. Now, Toni, Ukraine and Iran, they're set to make addresses at the assembly later today. So what can we expect?
As you'd expect from the Ukrainian president, his speech is going to address mostly Russia's war in Ukraine, which is now stretched into its third year with nearly 15,000 civilian deaths. We expect that he's going to try and rally international support for Ukraine's defenses and also encourage countries, particularly the United States, to pressure Putin towards peace. Volodymyr Zelenskyy spoke in front of the UN Security Council on Tuesday. Russia is a permanent member of that council, and he said that it was Moscow that is the impediment to ending this war. As Zelenskyy comes into the hall here at the United Nations, he's going to have some fresh wind at his back. That is because U.S. President Donald Trump just on Tuesday, as you mentioned, for the very first time said that he believed Ukraine can not only win this war, but win back all of its territory with the support of Europe and NATO. The U.S., of course, a member of NATO, but Trump not committing the U.S. to anything beyond selling weaponry to the organization. As for Iran, we are expecting that the president is going to strongly denounce the reimposition of UN sanctions. Those are meant to kick in this coming weekend. And this snapback has really been triggered by claims that Iran has violated the 2015 nuclear agreement. Tehran says there is no longer a nuclear agreement because the United States, under President Trump in his first term in office, walked away from that deal. We also expect that the Iranian president is going to address the June war with Israel and also the U.S.'s bombing of its nuclear facilities.
Now, Toni, we know that the U.S. president delivered a fiery attack on globalism last night. He attacked both the UN and its leaders. What has the reaction to his address been like?
Deranged, staggering, impossible, incoherent. I mean, that is how the international media, at least, has been summarizing that address. Speaking to delegates here on the ground, they say, Trump has a right to say what he wants to say, but we strongly disagree with that. That being said, many delegations, many world leaders really scrambled to try to get these sideline conversations with President Trump, a lot of them still trying to negotiate tariff deals. But I think what is different this time around from when Trump made his first speech at the UN during his first term in office, that was also a very fiery speech, is that at the time, world leaders, delegates, they sort of laughed it off, even laughed at Trump. This time around, nobody is laughing. They are strategizing what to do with Trump over the next 3 years, but also with this profound recognition that the United States has fundamentally shifted because the way the government has now been structured with gerrymandering, with the stacking of conservatives on the U.S. Supreme Court. There is this understanding and this recognition that a lot of these MAGA, America First policies that Trump is pushing is going to outlive his term in office.
Toni, thank you so much for bringing us the latest. That was Toni Waterman reporting live for CNA from New York.